This episode is sponsored by Caddyshack Bistro, your favorite new watering hole. Located next to Crust Pizza Company on Spring Cypress and Champions Forest Drive in Spring, Texas. A place where dreams come true. The finest spirits, wine, and tasty food. It's where the locals go. Use code BeerNerd20 to get 20% off your next order.
I want to know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I want to know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Front Row Negative, the podcast. We are back. We take more breaks than really anything. I don't know what happens, but we tend to take breaks. It is responsibilities. I don't know what that is, but we're back. I'm your host, Aaron.
And I am Cristobal, which I think is Spanish for Christopher. I'm not mistaken, right?
It could be
something like that.
Cristo.
Yeah. Cristo.
Or Christoph.
Yeah, I'm Christ. I am Christ of podcast. Wow, no. I'm just kidding. I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Good grief. I'm Chris. What's up?
You have to do that. You've risen after Easter, Christ.
Yes, exactly.
So, it's after Easter. So we are joined today by somebody who's in the Houston horror community. He's been a staple for Comicpalooza for a while. I've known him for a while through Comicpalooza. He's got his own part of a group thing going on with Houston Horror Fest. We had one of the big supporters a few weeks ago, Joe, on talking all about this. Fun conversation. We got Scott on today. How you doing, sir?
Doing very well. Glad to be on. Appreciate you guys having me on. Been looking forward to it. Been, of course, knowing you through Comicpalooza with 7 years now, 7 or 8 years, I think. And been waiting for an invite, man. But damn, it's like, what does a brother have to do to get on?
I don't know, man. I feel like we're having to build the mafia. Like we're starting with low-level mafia guys, and we're moving on to enforcers. Next thing you know, they're gonna be looking for our body like they were looking for Jimmy Hoffa's. You know?
Well, just just don't have any free time. In the evenings, just have a open.
Scott, I'm sorry. Well, I want to clarify something because I recognize by your last name you got some Creole roots in you, huh?
Very much so. Yeah, it's all Creole, both sides of my family.
My gosh, we're from Louisiana.
I was born and raised in New Iberia, Louisiana, and that's where my mom's family's from, and my dad's family's from St. Landry Parish, which is around Opelousas. If I told you the names of the towns my dad was from, you would have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. The town that my dad grew up in literally has a church. Everybody has to go to school the next town over. There's not even a school in that little small community, as they put it. But yeah, moved out here to Houston right at 21 years ago.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you know that yesterday was Easter?
Yes.
Did you know that yesterday, as of recording this podcast, yesterday was also, according to what I learned at the Shell Shack off of Washington and Houston, yesterday was also National Crawfish Day, which I did not know that. So anytime you're celebrating Easter, you should also celebrate with crawfish, apparently.
Well, what's funny is I remember growing up during Lent, Fridays during the Lenten season were a huge deal. And as I got older, I started asking family, I was like, technically you're supposed to fast and sacrifice on the Friday. Why are we boiling 10 sacks of crawfish and being as gluttonous as possible when isn't this supposed to be a sacrifice? You're not supposed to look forward to Good Friday. You're supposed to do some kind of penance. What are we doing?
Well,
it's all about how you look at it, man. What kind of sacrifice you're making? Are we sacrificing for good crawfish? Are we sacrificing for bad crawfish?
We just won't eat select. We'll just do field runs.
Yeah, you go from fish
that's how you know
to
Scott's
river
a true. That's how you know he's a true. I'm gonna say coon-ass because I can say that because that's where we're Pates and Fontenots as well and stuff like that. We got family all the way from Lake Charles up through New Orleans. So,
okay.
Yeah. So that's why I was just like, when he said, we're having Scott Fontenot, I was like, I gotta get some, I gotta talk a little bit of,
Oh yeah, you definitely got my number on that one. Yeah.
I can talk Cajun too. I mean, True Blood. That's all I know.
True Blood. Yeah. Werewolves and
You know, you got to know Victor Crowley. Come
vampires.
on, man.
Victor Crowley, yeah, I do know Victor Crowley. I mean, I was in the 4th movie, so that's what I'm told. That's what I'm
Nice.
told. But I'm glad both of y'all had this little good New Orleans or Louisiana homecoming talk right there.
Anyway, so horror movies. Wait, hold
But
on.
I do have to say, before that, I did have to say, Chris does make some good boudin balls. So
Oh, nice.
he does make some top of the line.
Yeah, it's things that you learn in your family. You know, I mean, of course, you gotta learn how to do boudin first, and then boudin balls come after that. But yeah, either way, you know, yeah,
it's a process.
I want to do a fish fry. I've told my friends that my family used to do a big fish fry. We'd have like 3 8-foot tables just lined out with just pans full of fish and shrimp and French fries and hush puppies and stuff. I'm going to be looking to do that in the near future, so maybe I'll have to invite you out for that.
Well, I used to do. I was a chef on a cruise ship long time ago, and I did that for a while. And actually, I had a small catering company when I first moved out here called Creole's Authentic Louisiana Cooking, and I sold prepackaged gumbo. And I was at that time I was a ringer for gumbo cook-offs. People would like call me up and say, "Hey, we need you on our team." So I was. It was a lot of fun. I miss cooking for large groups. I don't do it nearly as much as I used to, but. Luckily, my kids don't mind leftovers, so I can still cook large amounts of food like I used to be used to, and it doesn't go to waste. But yeah, men from South Louisiana love to cook. We love to eat, so you got to learn how to cook to make sure you don't go hungry.
You're telling me, yeah. Aaron was betting on some horror talk on this podcast. He's gonna name the episode like Gumbo Dumbo or something like that because I want
Gumbo Dumbo.
Yeah.
I'm the
blabbermouth of this podcast. I'm the reason why this podcast is usually an hour and change because I don't shut the hell up.
I'm going to call this episode Victor Crowley Etouffee. So that's. I'll call it that. So yeah, let's talk some horror. Let's talk some horror. So everybody has Scott. Everybody has their starting point in horror. There's a movie that got them hooked. Then there's a movie that they always go to. So,
right.
How old were you when you watched your first horror movie, and what was it that got you hooked?
I was really too young.
I think we all were.
My dad passed away when I was 9 years old, and
sorry.
my mom never remarried or anything, and we lived in a very, very small town. And like our local video stores, we didn't have like Blockbusters and stuff. We had Wagabag Video and then the Video Center, which was on the other side of the
Wagabag?
Wagabag. And Wagabag was the one near my house. So my mom had gone because she worked all the time. She told the people at the video store and the folks over at the movie theater, "Hey, Scott can watch whatever he wants. He wants to go see a rated R movie, just let him in. He wants to rate rated R movies, just let him do it." So people ask me all the time, the best horror movies, favorite horror movies, so on and so forth. And my favorite list to give are the top 3 movies that kind of shape the type of horror fan I am today.
Okay.
And these are mainly the movies where, back then we used to pick movies out by box art and take it home. If we liked it, we'd go back to it constantly. The number one movie that I think I rented more than anything, and my cousin Mark could attest to this, riding our bikes down about every 2 weeks, we'd each pick out a couple of movies, and Basket Case would end up coming home with me at least twice.
Okay.
I love the movie Basket Case. That's one of my all-time favorite ones. But Basket Case, original TCM, and by far Friday the 13th Part 3. And I think Friday the 13th Part 3, and the reason I kind of picked that one is when I was coming up at like 12, 13 years old, that's the one that would play on a loop on cable. So I saw that movie so many times over and over and over again that it just, those kind of gave me my love for slashers. Basket Case just kind of gave me my love for enjoying movies. And then like right after that at number 4, I always point out, and I saw this movie way too young also, but this is the movie that kind of gave me more of an appreciation for the actual art of film is Clockwork Orange. I watched Clockwork Orange way too young, but but it was just even as a young child, just watching it and seeing how this evil character towards the end, you become empathetic for him. And it just directors are amazing, filmmaking is amazing, sound is amazing. There's a lot of aspects that you don't get with some of the more beloved horror movies we enjoy that you get from a movie like Clockwork Orange. Just a director's ability to to change mood with just with score, with just everything. I love talking film. You guys know it's one of the
That's
reasons I
good.
love being involved
That's
with a film
good.
festival.
Oh yeah.
I'll just start going on. I was about to go on a tangent about just my history of learning score. Started realizing, after years of watching stuff like Bugs Bunny and Looney Tunes,
Hmm.
how that music score is how they would actually prepare you for what's coming next for the scene. Music score can increase and decrease heart rates. It lets you know what's coming up. It can make you elated. It can make you worried that something's going to happen. It takes a special director and composer to be able to utilize that properly in a movie. And I
Hmm.
definitely appreciate movies that do it well. Disney's fucking. I'm sorry, I curse a lot on my podcast.
It's okay.
I
You
apologize
can
for
do
that.
it. You can do it here. You can do it here.
Penis, vagina. We got you.
Disney is amazing at the utilization of score. If you
Yes.
watch Sleeping Beauty, it's it's incredible what they're able to do with it.
Definitely.
Sure, absolutely.
Definitely.
But
And
yeah, so those movies are the ones, and Poltergeist also is another one. That's why I went out. Well, I met Oliver last year. I got to hang out with him a little bit. We're still friends now. That was a big deal to me because Poltergeist, that was another one that played on the loop a lot. We watched it a whole lot as kids.
I can be honest, I've never heard anybody say that one of their favorites or top 5 has been Basket Case. I've never heard that. Never heard that. I've often heard, after they watch the movie, they're like, "Oh, that's cool. There's a shirt. I'll go buy that shirt." But I've
Right.
never actually had them specifically name out Basket Case. That's
Right.
great. I love the randomness of some of the titles because it's not one of the ones that a lot of people would pick right off the bat. You have your Friday the 13th, your Halloween's, your Nightmares, your all those. People pick one of them as part of it. But Basket Case, that's very underrated. But
Very much so. And like I said, that's my list of movies that influenced me. Like if you were to
Mhm.
ask me what the greatest horror movies ever made was, The Thing 1982 is going to be number one on that list every time.
Oh yeah,
To me, that's almost a perfect movie.
yes.
It's
It
just
is.
incredible what they were able to do that with the practical effects and the feeling of dread the whole time. I mean, that movie's not going to have a happy ending. I mean, you could tell from
No.
the get go.
Yeah, hell no.
It's just a bad time is going to be had by all. And yeah, to me that's like the greatest horror movie ever made, definitely. And then you have your
that's why
list
I've
of
always said, yeah.
you have your list of your favorite vampire movies, favorite werewolf movies. I got a whole bunch of because I've watched so many movies. I mean, I've been watching
you
horror
see
movies
behind
for
me, right?
40 years now, man. It's unreal how many
Yeah.
movies I've seen over my
Yeah,
life.
you see
But
behind
what's
me.
really sad is
These are stacks.
the movies that I keep going back to.
Yeah.
I got to stack it to watch this high, yet I keep going back to watch it. All these things I've seen a million times.
I've got a whole shelf of movies I haven't watched yet, and it keeps growing. And then I'm like, you know what? I want to watch Evil Dead 2 again. You know what? I want to watch Behind the Mask, Leslie Vernon again. And they say they're. It's like recently. It was a thing was deep. No, Shout Factory had a sale for Roger Corman. They had the Roger Corman birthday sale, and I got like 8 DVDs because they're on sale.
Right.
Haven't unwrapped them yet. They're still
Right.
cellophaned. Haven't even touched them. So,
Well, you mentioned Shout Factory, and my newest time waster as of today is today I learned that Shout Factory has a streaming app.
yes, they do.
And
Yes, they do.
I fell into that rabbit hole a little while ago. And actually, right before we started, I just started watching 1981's Night Riders. I don't know if you remember that movie.
I remember
But
it.
Night Riders, directed by George Romero, starring Tom Savini,
Yep.
Ed Harris, Ken Foray. It's just this campy movie about a traveling Renaissance fest where they joust on dirt bikes. It's awesome, man.
I was about to say, I in my mind's eye, I was seeing motorcycles. I think I've seen the movie a long time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw it a long time ago. But
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so they have a ton of these movies that I've already seen a million times that I'm probably going to deep dive in for the next few days. And
That's
well,
awesome.
a few years ago, I went to Texas Frightmare, and Charles Band's always there. He's always there,
Mhm.
and he's always pitching his Full Moon streaming service, the streaming app for Full Moon. And I keep telling him, like, because I would harass this guy on Instagram and on Facebook and on Twitter. I said, dude, make it Xbox and PlayStation accessible. That way people can download the app and use it. Finally, he comes out and says, I did it. I finally did it. I go and try to download the app. it's not serviced by Xbox or PlayStation.
Really?
So then finally Texas Frightmare comes back again, and he's doing this deal. Hey, sign up for my service. For 1 month free, you'll get 6 DVDs free. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. 6 DVDs, that's fine. Sign up for it. I watched all the stuff I wanted to watch through my computer. I forgot to cancel it. 2 months later, I go back to Xbox. It's working. I downloaded. I log in. And what I didn't know is that they had all the Blue Underground stuff, like all the Grindhouse, all the New York low budget stuff, the New York Ripper, all that stuff's on there. And I'm like, holy crap! When did this happen?
Oh yeah, he's got a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah, and then he's got like the old like '90s like straight to DVD action movies with like Buffy.
Oh, the Andy Sedaris, all the Andy Sedaris stuff. Yeah,
Sedaris stuff. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, this is worth this. This is worth the $5 a year. This is worth it. And then what ended up happening was, I canceled my subscription by accident because I accidentally clicked the cancel button on the thing, and then I go to the website like two days later and like, hey, if you subscribe to our service, we'll send you the Puppet Master Blu-ray box set for free.
Oh,
if you subscribe. Yes,
nice.
So I got the $150 box set for free.
It's a nice box set too.
For paying $36 a year for a full moon.
Right. It's a nice box set too.
It's a nice box set. Yeah.
So some good classic movies on the streaming service itself. They have some really good, just goofball shit.
Yeah.
Man.
You have a lot of the Sedaris stuff is. I mean, I watched like was it something in Conflict in Dallas, Guns. I watched like 3 or 4 of those stupid movies, and they're all like with Julie Strain, and it's just so cheesy. And then he's doing a new thing now. If you buy the year subscription, you get the Evil Bong box set. If you do it now, so
okay. Might have to check into that.
Yeah, if you're interested in it, you get that. But still, I mean, some of the stuff titles you have on there is just ridiculous.
I prefer Ginger Dead Man myself to Evil Bong, but that's just me. Busey kills it with that one.
Oh, here's the thing. They eventually have a kid. The Evil Bong and the Ginger Dead Man have a kid.
Yes, yeah. I know that.
Ouija. The Ouija.
Oh my god.
It gets so silly.
But it's fun. But it's fun. Yeah. That's the thing. I tell people there's so many gatekeepers in horror now. And I keep telling people, a movie doesn't have to be Oscar worthy or, as long as you're having fun. I see a lot of really crap movies that I will say are terrible.
Oh, yeah.
There's actually a lot of them that people hate that Zombievers was one of the funnest movies I've ever watched in my life, and people hate it.
Zombievers.
Oh, it was Black Sheep, that New Zealand film.
Oh, yeah, I've seen Black Sheep.
That movie is incredible, man. It's fun, it's goofy. It's not supposed to be an award-winning film or
it's not.
Something that is groundbreaking and changes the genre. It's just a fun movie. And what kills me is the people that complain about movies like that the most. I always ask them, "What did you think of Army of Darkness?" Because I promise you, Army of Darkness is not scary, and it's not even the best of the Evil Dead franchise. But you guys hold it up so high because of Bruce Campbell.
It's comedy. It's a comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
I look at it as a comedy. So. It's got a lot of one-liners. It's got a lot of.
Oh, it's a classic movie. Yeah, just incredible movie. I prefer part 2, but yeah.
Well, what did you think of the remake, the Evil Dead remake?
The Evil Dead remake, it was good actually. I didn't mind it at all. It wasn't a bad job they did with that. Mm-hmm. It didn't. To me, it didn't take away from the original. So.
Okay, that's good. I
didn't mind that one at all.
I know when people ask me to rank the Evil Dead movies, it's kind of hard because they're all good. They're all good in their own way, and it's difficult. Right. But yeah, the remake I thought was good, and I can't choose sometimes, but I will usually pick part 2 to watch just because
part 2 is my favorite one. Which technically the original remake. Part 2 is definitely my favorite one out of all of them.
It definitely is. It really is.
Now, Bruce Campbell, I was talking to somebody last night when I was out. Can't remember who it was, but my favorite Bruce Campbell movie is actually Bubba Hotep.
Yes.
because I think he did an incredible job in that one as far as acting. Because a lot of movies that Bruce Campbell is in is basically Bruce Campbell being in a different profession, if that makes
Yeah,
any sense.
it
Similar to
does.
what happens with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, every movie he's in, he's the same dude. He's just doing something different for a job. He's either a
That's
race
true.
car driver or he's a bartender. His voice never changes. It's just everything's the same. To me, Bruce Campbell's performance above a hotel was outstanding, man. I mean, it was just, and the whole storyline behind that movie is,
It's
it's
good.
just you explain that to somebody that has no idea what you're talking about, and they think you're lying.
Yeah,
Like, there's no way they made a movie like that. No, that's what it's about.
it's so good. And then well, like for me, I like My Name Is Bruce. That one's one of my favorites.
Yes, yeah,
Because he's playing himself. He's playing
right,
himself,
right.
and some of the one-liners he tries to say, but he realizes that they don't work in the real world. But they're still funny when they fail. They're
Mhm.
still funny when they fail. Like
That's
I think
awesome.
the best one is like when the guy in the wheelchair comes up to you and goes, "Hey, are you Bruce?" He's like, "Yeah." "Hey, have you ever seen that show Rawhide?" Keep rolling, and kicks them all away. Keep rolling, rolling, rolling. It just it's Bruce. It's so good. It's just yeah. I can talk horror movies all the time.
Oh yeah,
I can never not talk about it. And the Gatekeepers, it's
Toxic
They're-
fandom, man. Just across
very
the board.
toxic people. Very toxic people. You
and I
just
think a
don't
lot of
play.
it has to do with social media and people just feeling
Yeah.
as though they need to have an edgy opinion. Because I used to always relish in the fact that the horror community didn't have as much toxicity as like the comic fandom and some of these other groups.
Yeah.
And it's definitely growing nowadays. And I think, like I said, a
Yeah.
lot of it has to do just everybody wants to have an opinion on social media. There's so many groups and so many pages, and
Yeah.
there's so much interaction now out there that you see it a lot more.
Oh yeah, that
Mhm.
and that you also have people who want to just one up the previous
Yeah.
person who comments, and that's just causes the toxic fandom. And I think the biggest example of it that I saw was whenever the Black Christmas remake came out, because you had the people who were like, it's you either love it or you're this, or if you hate it then you're this, and it just became a big thing. I haven't seen the movie yet because I just have no interest,
Right.
but that when that movie came out, a lot of hate came out of the
Right.
horror community for that, and it was difficult to try to find a topic that didn't like revert back to that movie whenever it came out. But other than that, I mean, usually the horror community is pretty good. They usually do
Oh,
come
yeah.
together. They're always supportive, and they usually come together. I know a big example is Drew Marvick, indie director and indie
Yeah.
actor. If you ever met the guy, he is a big
Yeah, I know
lovable bear.
Drew.
He's a
Oh
big
yeah, I
lovable
know
bear.
Drew. He had our June show last year, about a week before. I got a message, and he was like, "Hey, you mind if I get a table over at the show?" And honestly, I didn't have room for him, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll make something work. Just come on down." So him and his daughter came down and stuff, and spent the weekend for the June show. I had him set up in a little booth and stuff. Hoping he comes down again this year. We'll see what happens with it. But yeah, Drew's a great guy. Drew's a really, really nice guy.
So cool guy. He looks like a giant lumberjack from hell.
Yeah.
Bloody pictures and everything. Super nice guy. And I love supporting his Indiegogo or his indie movies to donate to his Kickstarter and stuff. So he's a great guy.
Oh yeah.
But let's talk some Houston Horror Fest.
Okay.
Let's talk some about that. So you before the show, you were saying you're one of the Trinity.
So a little history behind how
Yes.
everything started with
Explain the history.
the Houston Horror events and Houston Horror Film Festival. So as you may remember, I've been doing the Scary Dad podcast for years.
Yep.
And me and Billy started doing the Scary Dad Haunted Halloween show, which was just a vendor show that we were doing every year.
Mhm.
And prior to our fourth event, I noticed that Tony and Troy were promoting their Houston Horror Film Festival, and I didn't know them very well, so we went ahead. We wanted to go ahead and maybe do some cross promotion. So I got in touch with them and said, "Hey, why don't we do a podcast interview? We'll give you guys a booth at our show so you can promote your deal, and we can go ahead and help each other out a little bit." So they came over for an interview on the podcast, and we just horror fans. We all hit it off. I mean, Tony and Troy are by far two of my best friends now. Me and me and Tony talk constantly all day just about horror and events and the things that we're doing and everything. Troy moved to Illinois temporarily, but he's going to be back
Oh wow.
here. He's a school teacher. He took a position in Illinois, but he's going to be
Okay.
back here at the end of the semester. He's moving back to Houston. So
Okay.
Troy is the person that originally came up with the idea for the film festival. He is a writer director from Houston. Well, that lives in Houston. Mrs. Claus, also known as Stirring, you may
Mhm.
have heard of. He's done Teacher Shortage. And he's actually going to be working on Mrs. Claus Part 2 here pretty soon. So
That's awesome.
he's been making films for a long time, and he had got with Tony and said, "Hey, I want to do a film festival. Will you help me out?" Uh, Tony is more on the guests and celebrity side.
Okay.
Tony's very well known in the social media world. The dude knows everybody. It is ridiculous how many we went to the Princess Goes to the Butterfly Garden concert last night, and we decided we we decided we wanted to try to meet up with Michael C. Hall after the show and everything, and
Mhm.
Tony just has a way. Next thing I know, he's like the only person able to actually get an autograph from him after the show because he knew where to hide out. He knew who to talk to. He knew every sign to look for as far as what door. It was the funniest thing. But anyway, so he's very well connected with all the agents and the reps and everything. So they were going to set up their show. They came over and did the last Scary Dad event that we had done before COVID, and
Okay.
then COVID hit, and the Houston Horror Film Festival had to get canceled, and it was ended up being just virtual, just a film festival itself. So me and Tony and Troy, we just kept talking and everything, and I said, look, I want to help you guys out because they had never actually done a show before. I had been
Yeah.
working for Comic Palooza for several years, and I had already been doing my own vendor market. So the hotel, of course, we had to cancel the show, and we were just waiting for things to get back to normal.
Mhm.
And like I said, we had never done an event before ever. The original film festival, we were planning on about 500 people coming over, maybe 20 or 30 vendors that was going to be it.
Yeah.
So that October of 2020, the hotel gives us a call and says, "Hey, we really need some work. There's no events going on. We'll give you the entire grand ballroom for the price of one section of it, as long as you just like limit capacity for COVID." So Tony's like, "Hey, we can get the entire ballroom for $500. Let's go ahead and do something."
Holy shit!
So,
That's awesome.
Wow.
so that was our first Houston horror pop-up market that we did, and that particular one, I'm trying to remember. That one was we brought Aria Lemon down, we brought Andrew Bernosky down,
Yep.
Sandy Johnson came down from the original Halloween, Miko Hughes came down from
Mhm.
Pet Cemetery,
Yeah.
and there was one other guest. Can't remember who the other guest was.
Yeah. I
But
think
so
you have Daniel Harris and Taylor Scout.
well, that was in June. That was
okay,
the big
That
show.
was the June. Okay.
So we did this first little itty bitty pop up market. We had about 250 people came out. It was a blast. Everybody had fun. The guests had a blast, and the guest word started getting out a little bit. So that was in October. Hotel contacted us again, said, "Hey, you guys want to do another one of those events this January?" So we're like, "All right, cool." So we did the one in January. Actually, the one in January is where we brought Ari in. So
Yeah.
Ari came down for the one in January. We were supposed to have Patty, but she had to cancel. We had Felissa came down. See, Dave Sheridan came down. Amelia Kincaid. I'm looking at my posters on the wall. Just so you know, so and Amelia Kincaid came down. And that one we had about 400, 500 people show up.
Okay.
So we were slowly building momentum and everything, and we were talking one day, and we said, "Hey, we got a limit capacity inside. Let's see if we can find an outdoor venue to do an event at." So we found a brewery up in Spring called Fortress Beer Works,
Yes.
and it was co-owned by Jay Mazer, author.
These are the
Jay
author.
Mazer at the time.
Yeah.
Yes, and so we got with her. We said, "Hey, you think you guys would want to do one of these pop-up markets over there?" So we set one up over there, and that one we had Linnea, Tom Matthews, Bob Elmore, Judy Aronson, and Paul Taylor was at that one. All of a sudden, over 1,000 people showed up for a single day market at a brewery, and things just kind of blew up. So now it's March. Our rescheduled June show is coming up. Now, granted, it's still coming up in the same hotel we were planning on 500 people in.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh man.
we start selling tickets, start working everything. Next thing you know, June pops up, our big show. We got Byling, we got Danielle, we got Scout, we got we got all these people there, and 4,000 people showed up over the course of the weekend. It was absolutely insane. There was no parking. It was just nuts. What was funny is there was no parking. We had no more room inside for anything. Our VIP party was under a tent in the parking lot. in the back of the hotel because we didn't have any more space inside to do anything. And the show everything just blew up from there, man. It was unreal how fast Houston had been waiting for something like this for so long.
Yes.
And I think because we were able to start so small, by the time we got to our fourth event, just the following that we had grown and everything, and just we do it because we love it. And we make sure everybody has a good time, no matter who they are, attendees, guests, vendors. We try to make sure everyone is well taken care of. And so since that June event, we've done 2 other pop-up markets. Both of them had over 2,000 at those. We did one at Wildcatters in Katy, which we'll be back over there again for Halloween. And then we did one at Raven Tower, downtown Houston.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's been next week we have our this coming Saturday we got our signature series event coming with Bob Elmore coming back down to Misfit Toys, which we're going to try doing those once a month where we bring just one guest down just to do a little autograph signing thing at either Misfit Toys or another like local collectible shop. But our July show right now is looking like it's going to be about 120 vendors and about 6,000 people over the course of the weekend. So
wow, that is incredible.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Just an example of just how it's almost like a movement we've been doing. Like Danielle and Scout are coming again for the show in July. They called us, said, "Hey, you guys mind if we come down? We'll take care of our travel arrangements and everything ourselves." So we're like, "Yeah, we are not going to turn you down at all." Because Danielle's a sweetheart. She's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, she's super nice. I've passing met her once, in passing met her once. That's as far as it got with that. Right. But yeah, she is definitely super nice. But yeah, wow, that's
her
really
her podcast is blowing up, and she's actually going to be doing a live podcast at the event the Saturday night. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Wow, 6,000 guests over the course of the weekend. That's amazing.
But we're in a much bigger venue now. We're in a venue that's made for conventions now, so it's going to be definitely going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I see. I wish Texas Rightman would listen to that instead of keep it in the basement of the Hyatt. So, open those ears, move to a bigger location.
Seriously,
it's hard to slide across from somebody down an aisle in the sea of BO and DVDs and shorts.
And just black T-shirts. I remember one year I was at Frightmare and I was trying to find Billy. And you know how you get in the foyer before the rooms open up, and it's just a sea of black T-shirts. And I'm trying to find Billy, and I look at this guy next to me, and I said, "I'm looking for a white guy in a black T-shirt. How easy you think it's gonna be to find that cat around here?" And it's just. But what I love about Frightmare is like right after I say that, all of a sudden I see just like the Red Sea, the crowd just starting to part.
Yeah.
And I look over and there's Matt Lillard walking through the crowd, high-fiving everybody before the show started. I love those kind of things that happen. That's why we love doing hotel shows.
Yeah.
We looked at moving to an actual convention center, Stafford Convention Center, but just the atmosphere you get when everybody's staying at the same hotel where the event's occurring, you can't beat it, man. It's absolutely it's amazing how different it is.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun experience to do that. I know whenever I went to Texas Rumble one time, we just got in. Me and a friend just got in. We're about to go upstairs to check into our rooms. We get in the elevator to go up, and we're in the elevator. We just kind of bum rush the elevator. Get in. Didn't really look behind us. So then I turned to the side. I was like, dude, I can't wait to get to my room to get a beer. As I turned to look at my friend, in the corner in the back of the elevator was Kane Hodder.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
And this guy, he's a big guy. He's a big guy. Yeah. And I'm like, and I go, holy crap, that's Kane Hodder. And he goes, yeah, it's me. I'm like, okay. I was like, hey, what floor are you going to, Kane? He goes, what floor's the gym on? The 6th floor? I don't know. He goes, well, don't press all the buttons. I don't want to be trapped in here. So it's like awesome. So we press our room button, or the floor that we're both on, and we get off. He's like, "It's nice meeting you two nerds." And then he pushes it, and then he closes the door. On us.
It's Kane Hodder, dude. He is a trip, man.
I have a funny story about him, dude. Kane Hodder was at a show in Dallas, and I went with an old high school friend of mine. She wanted me to come visit and go to the show. It was like Comic-Con. and she didn't know he was going to be there. So we're walking around, and she sees him. She goes, looking at his banner. She's like, "Is that Jason?" I was like, "Well, he's one of them, but he's the most renowned one." She's like, "Oh, you think I can meet him?" I was like, "I'm sure he'd love to take a picture for you. I mean, I'm sure he's whatever he's charging. Go check it out." She's all nervous. I was like, "No, go check it out." Anyway, fast forward 20 minutes later, he's already taking a picture with her. She's sitting on his lap. He's trying to hit on her. He's doing everything he can. And she kept resisting him. And she comes back. She's like, "He's staying at this hotel, this room." I was like, "Oh, man." I was like, "He's trying to clap them cheeks. Look out." It's kind of funny.
You sure she wasn't at Tom Savini's booth?
Yeah, it was Tom Savini dressed as Kane Hodder. He's like,
it's me,
Savini,
Love Gun.
And I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
But we mentioned Texas Frightmare a couple of times, and I just got to say, if it wasn't for Texas Frightmare weekend, the Houston Horror Film Festival probably wouldn't be happening, because that's how most of us met originally.
Okay.
Sure. Just going, because we're all part of that Texas Frightmare family.
Yeah.
And what Lloyd has done with Texas Frightmare is just, it's such an amazing thing. I remember the first time I went to Texas Frightmare, after I got home, it took 3 days to come down from the high from it.
Yes.
Because it was just, I had never been to a horror convention before. I've been a horror fan forever. I've been a horror nerd for a long time. And for years, I just kind of didn't know there were others like us.
Yes.
So, just kind of kept to myself and everything. And when I finally discovered Texas Frightmare and I went, and, Billy says this all the time, it's like you go into Texas Frightmare and there's blood and there's scary stuff and there's monsters. And then there's all these people walking around with heart bubbles above their head because they can't get the smiles off their faces because it's like they're in a candy store.
It's true.
And it's just, it's, I'm not gonna say we wanted to replicate that, but we wanted to, keep it going. So why once a year? Let's go ahead and do something in Houston too that we can have fun with and build it. Because we got 4 million people out here. There's got to be a few horror fans, you would think.
Right. There's got to be a few. Well, here's the question. Then, when you go to Texas Frightmare, what do you hit up first? Do you hit up the movies, the shirts, or celebrities?
I would say the movies. The movies and the shirts. Yeah. The celebrities I usually wait on. I mean, like with my biggest get at Frightmare, in my opinion, was Clive Barker the first year he went.
Yeah.
Because I am a huge Clive Barker fan, just from reading his books back when I was in high school. And there were like stories about how horrible the lines were. People were waiting like 7 or 8 hours just to get an autograph from Clive. And I was like, I'm not going to sit in the line for 7 or 8 hours. And then he got sick. He had like he had like flu-like symptoms. So they were like, you better go today, otherwise you're not going to be able to meet him. I was like, I'm not going to wait in the line for 7 hours. So that Sunday morning, I got up early. And I remember that's the morning that I met Boom. I met Alex Boom Beatty, and we were number 3 and 4 in line. And I literally, as soon as it opened up, it took me 20 minutes, and then I went and enjoyed the rest of my day. It was pretty awesome. Nice. So yeah, I usually wait for the celebrity stuff, except for a couple of them. I remember when the last year Steve Dash was there right before he passed away.
Yes,
I had him sign. I had got a custom little G.I. Joe potato sack Jason.
Yeah,
that I wanted to have him sign. I had him sign that one. I immediately went straight to him just to go ahead and get that out the way, because I think that was the year they had 7 of the Jason Voorhees actors there.
Yeah, they had 7 of them. And 8. 7 if you include Ari.
Yeah. Is that the one that we went to, Ryan?
Yes, that was the one we went to.
That's the first time I'd ever been, because I just never had a chance to go, because honestly usually I do cons and I usually do shows in my art capacity, so I never had time to go to other shows or anything like that. And so usually Texas Frightmare is on Free Comic Book Day weekend, so we went and I remember being all these Jasons lined up, and then Bob drive-in. No.
Joe Bob.
Joe Bob Riggs was on the other side with the Mail Girl and
Darcy.
Yeah. And it was mind blowing, man. I like you. I was just dumbfounded by how cool it was and how much cool shit was there. That was Sam Raimi, right? Was there also?
Yeah, that was one with Sam Raimi that went.
I really wanted to get my and it sounds stupid, I guess, but I wanted my Spider-Man DVD book, cover inside the thing autographed, but it would have been an all day process. Like it would have been. I didn't want to go just for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the line for him was way too long. I mean, and Raimi signed a ton of autographs, but you paid in time. You paid in that time frame to get those autographs. And luckily during that weekend we were able to kind of get some vendor passes. So we were able to kind of sneak in and out of the vendor hall to try to kill some time.
Right.
And we used those to our advantage, getting some Mondo prints. The very first
nice.
day. Yeah, to get those. And then we used them to get into the dealer hall early to talk to some people, like T-shirt Joe. He's awesome.
I love Joe. Joe's awesome. Joe and Tom, God, if you've ever been to one of our events, it's so funny because by 2-3 o'clock, the buzz is going pretty good. And as I walk around the show, you'll hear first Joe will holler "Scary Daddy," and then Tom will holler "Scott," and they will yell that from across the vendor hall. And I'll get on the mic trying to do giveaways and raffles, and the whole time I'm just being heckled by Tom. Tom he does it. I love that. I love Tom and Joe so much, man.
Joe is awesome.
They're a big part of our shows.
Yeah, if you haven't been, Joe looks like a little Hispanic Ronnie James Dio.
Yes.
He looks just like him, and he all he ever does is wear cut off sleeve shirts.
That's it.
I don't think he's ever worn a T-shirt with sleeves on it, but he's so cool. He's at almost every Texas horror or even comic themed event. There's one time he showed up to a toy show at a brewery. He just set up shop and was selling T-shirts. It's like, dude, what are you doing? He goes, I wasn't busy this weekend. I'm like, okay, cool.
Get it where you can, man. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, great to see you, Joe. Oh yeah, man, cool.
But yeah, I love hanging out with them. They got some great takes on movies and just life in general. I just love hanging out with Tom and Joe.
Well, I mean, Joe has all those really cool shirts that I wish I could be as half of creative as he is. I mean, Creature from the Black Saloon, and it has the creature. As like the Go Man wearing like a cowboy hat and a vest. So many just really funny things that he does, and it's just such a good guy. Such a good guy. I want to have him on the show eventually, just to talk shirts, because I'm pretty sure I own like several of them. I lost count. I lost count.
Actually, I'm just trying to remember. Literally just had a message. I love my T-shirts, and I just had a message from Deep Cuts about a shirt that I ordered. I didn't even remember I ordered it. I was like, wait, what shirt are you guys sending again? It's a Sam Neill shirt from In the Mouth of Madness. So I've been looking for one from Deep Cuts for a while. They've been out of my size for a while, and I finally got one. So
that's awesome.
Another very underrated movie, by the way. In the Mouth of Madness is incredible.
Yes,
it is a great.
Oh
great
yeah,
film.
man.
Very much so. To me, In the Mouth of Madness is what if So made an autobiography on Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And then he'd have that movie.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. All they needed was a Dean Koontz reference, and it'd be perfect.
There's another one. Sam Neill, another one of my favorite movies. Sam Neill's like one of my bucket list guests to have one day. I mean, just to have him show up at a convention would be just incredible. But Event Horizon is by far my number one sci-fi horror movie, with Aliens being number two. But Event Horizon I think is another movie that the problem that they did with Event Horizon is when they marketed it originally before release, they made people think it was going to be a science fiction movie.
Yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Just a straight space movie. Star Trek, Star Wars fans, come on out, and it is not what it was. It's a haunted house movie. I mean, it's a really, really great film.
I didn't see it in theaters. I was like, this looked dumb. And then I was shocked, and I was like, oh shit, okay. Like, they missed the boat on that one.
Yeah. Well, I know the game Dead Space was the Event Horizon was the inspiration for that game.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes. That's a crazy ass game too. If you ever played that one,
I haven't played it, but my kids have played it, and they made me come check it out. They're like, hey, this is just like that movie you made us watch.
Yeah. Hey,
my kids get forced into a lot of movies.
Hey, the best games do that. Have you ever had a chance to play the Friday the 13th video game?
No, I've only seen the run-throughs and everything online, but I've never had a chance to play it.
It was so much fun. We had some FRN game nights where we played it. And Krister would do a Hank Hill voice, whenever he was Jason. And
I
so,
would, man. It
and
was,
so,
it was some fun.
the funniest thing is that usually you would hear the theme song playing when the Jason's approaching, but
Right.
no, in our case you'd hear, oh, what the hell is going on over here
No,
as
I
he's coming
literally,
up on the hill.
yeah, like I'm walking around as Jason. Like you walk up on the campsite, there's like tents and shit, and I'm like, no, okay, bear with me here. I haven't prepped. All right. These boys done put down money on a deposit, and I told them no beer cans, and all I see are beer cans. There better not be no premarital sexual relations inside these here tents.
You
And I'd
nailed
see
it,
one of them
man.
like jump through a window. I'm like, whoa.
or like whenever you step in the trap, ladybird.
Oh yeah. Whoa, ladybird. You're going to regret when I get a hold of you, boy. Yeah, it was awesome. We need to do that again, man. I miss that shit.
That is very cool. You nailed
That was
it.
a fun game. Well,
Yeah,
well,
the game looks like it actually does a really good job just with suspense and like keeping you on your
Oh, it
toes. and
definitely
stuff.
does.
it was. The music was even because it had the same
Yes.
sound effects and the same score from the
Yep.
movies.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, they're like starting to shut the servers down, so you can't really play it anymore.
Okay.
But Evil Dead, the video game's coming out, which is pretty
Yeah.
much almost the same, which will
Okay.
be the same. So I'm excited to play that because besides you can play as Ash and a Kelly and the other third sidekick, all the sidekicks from the movies like King Arthur's in there, Eric the Red,
Okay.
Bobby Joe, Sarah, all of them are in there. Ash's dad is going to be one of the playable characters.
Oh, very cool.
Oh,
man.
wow.
And I loved him in Ash versus Evil
Yeah,
versus the
yeah.
Evil Dead. He was so hilarious. So I can't wait to play as Ash's dad to help out his son conquer the Deadites. So
That's awesome.
That whole Evil Dead franchise is awesome. I really enjoyed the series that it came out on Stars. The special effects were great. That was a
so
fun
good.
series.
Oh, it was so
A whole
much
lot
fun.
of fun.
And then when Lucy Lawless joined the cast, I
Yeah.
was like, yes, that's so great. So great. But yeah, can't wait for that game. That's supposed to come out the next few. No, that got pushed back. I want to say midsummer now. That's supposed to come out midsummer because originally it was supposed to come out next month, but they pushed it back because of they're not done with it yet. But then they announced the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, which is also going to be like the Friday the
Yeah.
13th game
Yeah.
as well. So you're
What?
getting the horror explosion of games now that are made by horror fans and not just companies looking to do a quick reskin of an old game to make a quick buck.
Horror's popular again, and
It
I
is.
hate seeing that because the the major studios always treat genres like the
Yeah.
the current big trend, and then they forget about it.
That's true.
Until they start seeing they're losing money again, and they try to take it over again, and that's when you end up getting just a flurry of remakes and just rehashes of all kind of shit you don't want to see anymore. And another reason why we love doing the film festival is independent film with horror movies has always been huge. I mean, some of the
Yeah.
biggest horror movies were independent films,
They
and
were.
and just because it gives you, unfortunately, when you start getting the major studios, you get bound by what they want you to put out, and there's so many examples of major directors putting out a movie that they did some awesome work independently, and as soon as the studio takes it over, even though they took over a franchise because of how well it was doing, you want to go ahead and change the formula
Yep.
to change it into
Yeah.
something else. And
So
it's
stupid.
and I
It
just
is.
I like seeing it because it brings horror back to the forefront, but at the same time, I'm real cautious when I see the major studios starting to push horror big because
Yeah.
you know what's going to end up coming, and then they're going to forget about it. They're just going to drop it to the side again until the next big thing.
That is true. That is very true. But but at the same time, you also got new companies coming out like A24.
Yes, yeah.
Who are doing
A24 has been killing it, man.
they've been doing some crazy stuff and they've been doing some memorable stuff. And I remember, so like I remember Hereditary.
Mhm.
I wasn't a big fan of Hereditary. I saw it, I'm like, okay, I get it. Not my thing. Not my thing. Then I saw Midsummer. I thought, this is great. This is really good. Different, off the wall, good.
Right.
What's another? It Follows. Completely
Yeah,
different.
that one messed me up too. Yeah,
Completely different. Like, holy crap! This movie's called The Creepy Clap, or or STD Evil.
the
But
Booty Man.
but
Boogity,
it's
boogity.
It Follows was COVID before COVID. So, but I mean, like they're just doing this crazy stuff that's that nobody would think of. It's more artistic.
Right.
Then you have Jordan Peele come out. And
Jordan Peele is he's been doing some great work, man.
He's been doing good stuff. I'll admit, I liked Get Out. Wasn't a fan of Us.
That was kind of on the fence for us. I liked it,
Yeah.
but Get Out is still the better of the two for sure.
The
You know,
trailer.
not that I want to be the avenger of all things Jordan Peele, but, and I'm not. This is not an attempt to sway anybody. I want to tell anybody who hasn't seen Us. Jordan Peele's films, and you two probably know this, obviously, but like are really steeped in the black culture and what they face in modern, not only the past, but in modern times, of the problems that they're still up against. And like Us was really, honestly, a very heady movie, very heady. Like, so, and honestly, some of my friends I've known that I've talked to, and who are African American, have said like, you really kind of have to almost have the experience of the living in the life of an African American to understand some of the shit you see in these movies. Because
it's a deep movie,
yeah, they're deep.
Some of the shit's going to go right over my head because I'm like, what's the problem? And it's like, oh, well, you don't face this, this, and this. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right, I don't. So anyway, but no. So to your point, Aaron, I understand completely why you wouldn't get it.
It's not that I didn't get it. I just didn't feel that Us was a good follow-up for that movie. The trailer was amazing. The trailer was for that movie was amazing. I mean, I got 5 on it to play with the remix.
Oh yeah,
in the background. Great trailer.
Yeah. Awesome.
Movie just felt weak compared to Get Out.
Right.
Now his next movie, Candyman, that Candyman sequel, legacy sequel, was really well done.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
People that hate on that movie, all right, and they're all nostalgic about the original Candyman, I always tell them, you tell me which sequel was better. There is not a better sequel to Candyman than what Jordan Peele put out.
Well, here's the
that
thing.
movie's great. That movie's such a good film.
Here's the thing: when people say that they hate it, I'm like, well, what part did you not like it? Oh, it doesn't have Tony Todd. It's like, no, watch the movie, you'll get it. You'll understand why. He's in it, but you have to watch it because it's a legacy. It's if you saw part 3, the ending of part 3, it makes perfect sense for this movie. It's a great gateway into this movie. Right. So yeah, I thought Candyman was a great. The new one was a great movie.
Oh, it was incredible. We got Michael Hargrove coming down for in July.
I saw that.
He's a super nice guy, man. He honestly has. When we first got him and got him signed and everything as a client and stuff, he honestly had no idea people would want his autograph. And I'm like, you don't know horror fans. You
don't know horror fans.
Horror fans are absolute complete. When Sandy Johnson came down, we did an interview with her. I don't know if you ever heard the story about how Sandy Johnson ended up coming back into the limelight and stuff, but she had made she had her 52nd part in the original Halloween movie. And then she had 2 other kind of B movies she did in the late 70s, very early 80s. Yeah. And she disappeared. It was a bad experience. There's certain things she doesn't like talking about that happened back then. And she just left Hollywood and moved out to the mountains of Washington State.
Wow.
Never to be heard from again. Never to be heard from again. Wow. So I'm trying to remember the agent's name. He reps Feruza and a few other people. He was at Comic Palooza last year, as a matter of fact.
Sean Clark?
No, not Sean. Not Sean. Is it Zach?
Oh, okay. I know Zach. I know who Zach is.
I think it was Zach. So
he don't know me, but I know him.
Zach has apparently, me and him talked about this for a while last year. He had been trying to find her because so many people were asking for her because that was like the only signature a lot of people didn't have on their original Halloween posters. Yeah. So this dude actually went. He figured that she must have changed her name. So he went to he got in touch with the courthouse at her hometown where she was born. Whoa. Got all the records of women that were born around the same that same year in the month of her birthday, and like went through line by line until he finally tracked down a woman that it probably was in outside of Dallas, and gives her a call one day and it's like, is this Sandy Johnson that was in Halloween? And she's like, who the hell is this? And whenever she confirmed it was her, she said that he just started screaming on the phone, just ecstatic that he had finally found her. And ever since she started doing shows, she had no idea anybody wanted to see her. I mean, she had no
Wow.
clue.
That's
And
wild.
she's been blowing it up. I mean, she loves it. She absolutely loves meeting her fans.
That's awesome. I know one of our past guests, and he's a good friend of mine, Patrick. On the Halloween Kills movie, he created the fan group, the lady who brought an iron to fight Michael Myers. and then he was able, and then someone who joined the group was like, "Hey, that's my aunt. Let me bring her in."
That is cool.
And the actress actually came into. She's a moderator of the group. She's one of the moderators
really?
of the group. And so, and we talked. I've talked to her a few times. She's a super nice lady, super nice. Her 15 minutes are up.
Right.
But she's super nice, and I know she's done a few comic convention appearances because of not only the fan group, but because of the outlandish weapon that she brought in iron to fight Michael Myers at the end.
As you do,
as you do, as you definitely do. But she has also been getting the con circuit and the fandom treatment because of that outlandish character.
Right.
But yeah, it's
shit, man. Nothing else works to kill him. Why not bring a goddamn iron? You never know.
You can starch him in the eyes.
The son of a bitch doesn't die. Yeah.
But it's just like for some people, like this was random actors and actresses that you need for your poster, that you need for that.
Exactly.
That
you want to get that last signature. Yep.
You definitely do. You definitely do. And what was it? I know somebody. I was talking to somebody in another poster group who has a Death Wish poster that he's got autographed, and all he needs to complete his poster is Jeff Goldblum.
Oh wow.
That's the only one he needs left. He had Charles Bronson, back in the late 90s. He got all the other people that he was able to get a hold of, but all he needs is Jeff Goldblum. And Jeff Goldblum doesn't really do conventions outside of San Diego or New York or Emerald City.
It's a very hard get.
Yes, very hard to get. That's a very hard get. So speaking of conventions, and you kind of mentioned Samuel as your like one of your white whales. Who's some other white whales that you want to get autographs from, or that you're seeking out to attend your show?
Well, we'll just eventually, hopefully, the other side of that would be Lawrence Fishburne, of course.
Okay.
Who was also in Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Another big one that we've talked about, potentially getting one day, of course, is Lord, losing my mind. Jamie Lee Curtis is another big one that we want to eventually get.
God, yeah.
One day.
Yep.
Even though I love Jamie Lee Curtis, I love most of her movies, but totally unpopular opinion, I am not a fan of the Halloween franchise. And I know that drives so many people nuts. I remember I was doing a podcast, and somebody said, "What's your favorite Halloween movie?" And I said 3. Halloween 3, followed by Rob Zombie's Halloween Remake. Those are my top 2 Halloween movies.
Oh, you're just trolling them at that point.
Hey, I've got some friends who would love you for that comment right now. I've got some friends who are anti-Halloween, anti-Michael Myers all the way. My friends Freddie and Patrick and Rob O'Neill will love that comment because you're anti-Halloween. I like the movies only because they're just a part of the horror genre.
I enjoy the movies.
Yeah,
I'm just not a huge Halloween fan.
But I don't go out search them out to watch them, search them. If they're on TV and nothing else is on, I'll watch them. Mainly Part 3. I'm a big fan of Part 3 as well. But I don't go and actively search them out. I have the box set because I'm a completionist. But I don't go search them out.
Right.
So I know that response, and several friends who are the exact same way with that.
John Carpenter strikes me as somebody who'd be a real prick if you met him and like, when they say don't meet your heroes. Like John Carpenter just seems like he's an asshole.
I think later in life, John Carpenter probably isn't. I actually just got through watching Body Bags a little while ago.
Yes, I love Body Bags.
Me too. It's on that Shout Factory streaming service, so it popped it on earlier. But definitely the third GOAT guest that me and Tony talk about all the time would be Rob Zombie.
Well, Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
That
okay.
would be a big get for us.
I'm okay. Here, Rob Zombie, great musician,
Uh-huh.
great artist, mediocre filmmaker.
I would say not top tier. I wouldn't say mediocre, but I would say definitely not top tier for sure.
I'd say mediocre.
There's much better.
He's a par novelist. I did read Lords of Salem, and I regret every page I read of it. Again, my joke for Lords of Salem, the book, is that Lords of Salem is Rob Zombie's love letter to his wife for requesting a blowjob. And if you read the book, you'll understand why.
You understand what it meant. Okay.
You'll understand why, because his wife played the main female lead. The description of the evil demonic priest was him, and 3 times in the book, she gives him oral satisfaction through dreams, and hypnosis. So, I mean, you put 3 and 3 together. That's a love letter right there.
Right.
So that's a love letter. As far as his movies, I love Devil's Rejects. I love the first Halloween remake he did. That's about it.
I can agree with you on that. The whole Devil's Rejects franchise, I'll call it that instead of House of a Thousand Corpses. Devil's Rejects is by far the best of the 3 films.
Yes.
But it's so much different than House of a Thousand Corpses was torture porn.
Yeah,
it was just let's try to shock the hell out of everybody. You know,
it was.
You don't need to know who these people are. Just we're gonna give you a bunch of blood and homages to Leatherface, and that's gonna be about it. That's all it was.
I was going to say, man, I feel like Rob Zombie saw the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre and was like, "Yep, that's it right there."
Pretty much. I mean, okay, so I saw 31 because I had a friend who kept telling me, "You gotta watch 31. It's really good. It's a good movie." I watched it. I'm like, okay, what part was good? He's like, well, the speech that Pyramid Head gave. I said, that's the whole reason why the movie is good, is because he gave that monologue at the beginning. He goes, yeah. I said, you can watch those 5 minutes on YouTube and skip the rest of the movie. You can skip the rest of the movie. It's basically Hunger Games Hillbilly Edition. You don't need
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
This might be a little shady, but you think when Rob Zombie makes a film and he has the casting call sheet, all it just says is ugly people?
No, it just says Walmart.
Oh, okay. I feel bad when I'm saying that, but it's like that's the only people he cast are people that you're looking at them like, wow.
Do you shop at Walmart at 1 a.m?
It just says Walmart in Alabama with check boxes. That's it. That's all it says. And I don't apologize to our Alabama listeners. I don't. So, but yeah, it's just
stick that in your roll tide.
To be honest, if Rob Zombie was there and I was going to meet him, I would get one of his art pieces, one of his paintings, get that autographed like a Prince or something, or I would get probably Hellbilly Deluxe, the CD signed.
Okay,
that'd be it.
Okay,
that would be it. I mean, hell, I'm going to try to go see him this summer if I can. I
got my tickets for the show.
You got tickets?
Yeah.
Mudvayne coming back.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, Chris. So it's Rob Zombie's the lead. You've got the reformed Mudvayne. You got Static X with the dope lead singer reprising his role as Zero, and then you have Pyramid 5000. Yeah. It is 2002 all over again.
No kidding, man.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a killer show,
Holy
man.
Shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're actually what we're trying to do is that the whole Houston horror community Facebook group that we have. We're just going to try to do a huge meet and greet for the show. We're all getting general admission tickets and just going to try to just all hang out for the show for sure. I'm going to go see Korn too. I love having concerts back. I mean, it's just it's incredible having concerts back. Because last night I went. Brian Head Welch from Korn was in Katy.
Yeah. I saw that
doing his thing. He actually ended up getting on stage and playing some Korn songs with one of the bands too.
That's pretty cool.
So, but he does this thing where, and I felt so bad because him and I can't remember the other guy's name, but he's from the skateboard industry. They do this thing called the Whosoevers, where they go around giving inspirational talks to people that are fighting substance abuse and stuff like that.
Okay.
So at Wildcatters and Katy, I'm friends with the owner, the staff there. We do events there, so I go there a lot because I'm just comfortable going there. I know I don't have to worry about anything. And so I go yesterday for the Easter egg hunt and for the Brian Head Welch thing, not realizing that there were going to be a lot of ministries there set up with booths, like giving stuff away. And I'm walking around. I don't know if you saw the shirt I had on yesterday, but it actually had a picture of the crucifixion on it, and it said Jesus loves you but I don't, and the bottom said go fuck yourself. And but what was funny is I never wore a shirt where so many people wanted to take pictures of it before in my life.
That's awesome. That is,
damn,
that
dude,
is really cool.
you got all the stink eye yesterday then.
Yeah, must have. It's okay. It's like that one shirt that I saw a lot of people wearing about 6 or 7 years ago. They Jesus loves. Then underneath it, there's a picture of Sasha Grey, and it says Sasha Grey underneath it. But if you have a button-up shirt, it says Jesus loves.
That is awesome, man.
The funny thing about that is you're gonna get a lot of sideways looks from guys like, I don't know who that is. Yeah, of course.
No, yeah, sure, yeah.
Nobody does. You're right.
Sure. I'll just say this for a whale or probably like a goat I want to meet at a horror convention.
Mm-hmm.
One that I've been a fan of since I was a kid. Haven't met him yet. Joined the fan club. I want to meet R.L. Stein.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
I mean, Goosebumps. Who didn't read Goosebumps in our age bracket? Who didn't read that?
Right.
Does he do shows and shit like that?
He doesn't. He does them here and there. He mostly does like book conventions and writing seminars, stuff like that. But he does come out.
Right.
If they're still around, you can find one probably.
Right.
But I would want to meet him just because. I joined the Goosebumps fan club when I was younger, and it was the coolest thing too because they shipped you the package. It was in a coffin-shaped box. Yeah. And you got like a notepad and a pencil and a hat and all that. Always really cool stuff. And I just remember that growing up.
Decoder ring, drink Ovaltine. What the?
He's a huge guest because he, I love those things that were like kind of the gateway for kids to get into horror movies, like Scooby-Doo. I mean, Scooby-Doo was a huge gateway for a lot of kids that kind of got into horror. And
oh my god!
To learn a little bit more about it. R.L. Stein was huge on that front. He encouraged a lot of horror fans.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
my mom raised me on horror films, dude. And when I was a kid, like, of course, my mom, her age bracket, they grew up with, Scooby-Doo, back in the day, shit like that. And so,
yeah,
I watched a shit ton of Scooby-Doo. A few years ago, my now wife, before we were officially married or whatever, we went on a vacation and we went to Universal Studios, and she had gotten sick that day, so she couldn't go to Universal Studios. So I went instead, and they had Mystery Inc. was out there in front of the van, and so
that's awesome.
Like a meet and greet. It was cool. So I walk up, and I'm like, "Pardon me, I hadn't prepared." Like, where can a guy get a good cannoli around here, man? And the guy was like over here, and I'm like, right. I spent a lot of time watching like shit like that, man, as a kid. So good. Sorry. If you start talking Scooby-Doo, I have to do it. I'm sorry.
Hey, Scooby-Doo. Hey, Scooby-Doo is a gateway for a lot of people. I never really watched it when I was growing up. I read Goosebumps. I had the Creepshow comic book, like that book novel from Creepshow.
I wish I had mine. Ugh.
I had that, and I just had a lot of horror books because in our house horror movies are kind of forbidden with my mom. She didn't want us to bring them in.
Okay.
And I kind of had to sneak around it to go watch them. So
right.
That's what I had to do. But yeah, Goosebumps was a big gateway for me. I love reading Goosebumps. I remember going to the book fair and always buying like 2 or 3 Goosebump books because, I mean, why not? And then trading with my friends to read them. So
there was wrestling tape traders, and there was Aaron and his friends.
Hey, you got to run that. You got to run that.
Stories to tell in the dark. That movie was honestly pretty good. I really enjoyed it.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie at all.
The special effects were good. The special effects.
Yeah, I was gonna say because those books weren't really. I mean, they were scary, but it left a lot to your imagination. So like,
no, the stories I think were okay. the illustrations in those things were scary.
I was gonna say that's the shit that was scary to me was the illustrations. And as a kid who loved art, I was like, ooh, I was always trying to like emulate them and shit like that. So I wish I had my original copies. I don't. I ended up buying like this 3-volume like little box set when the movie came out, so I could have them. I was like, oh man.
Does it have the artwork though? Does it have the artwork or not?
That's a great question.
Because I know they edited the artwork for a while. They kind of toned it down because of angry moms around the world. That, they got upset. But I was able to get volumes part 1 and number 3 from Half Price Books with the original artwork, and they had to order number 2 off of eBay. I got that.
I'm glad we're talking about this, man. I forgot I hadn't even opened this thing yet.
You haven't opened it yet?
No, hold on. I just, dude, I got so many comics and graphic novels and books and reference books and art books and shit like that. There's so much stuff I haven't even opened.
You're just as bad as me.
I know, man.
Yeah.
This is stacks stuff. Got to try to organize it or something.
I mean, look at these stacks of movies. Wait, did I watch that one? Wait, yeah, I did. Okay.
Why is the book's not coming out of the sleeve? God, can they pack it in any tighter?
That's what she said.
Perfect timing. Nikita, good horror movie timing.
Oh my God.
Pretty much.
So
Well, that's one of the reasons I've always said that horror and comedy kind of jive so well together.
Yes.
Is because timing is such an important aspect of each one of those genres. I mean, huge need for timing to really properly do certain scenes. It's like in Get Out, that deer jumping in front of that car gets me every time.
Yes.
The timing on that is just absolutely perfect.
Well, I think for me, one of the biggest horror movie jokes or like the comedies is Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
That's one of my favorite ones. My kids absolutely love that movie, man.
Dude, look, the artwork's still in them.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's
Very
it.
nice.
Scurry shit. I love scurry shit. So good.
But yeah, Tucker and Dale. I think the one that got me was like whenever he's running, chasing the bee with the chainsaw.
Yeah.
And the kid is running like side by side with him, and he's not looking where he's going. And he runs into the tree. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
God damn it. I should not have opened this. I'm not going to get any work done tonight.
Hey, reading material.
Bitch, Hulk Hogan. Ugh.
What Hulk Hogan? What are you talking about?
Sheiky baby.
Wow.
Bullshit, son of a bitch, Hulk Hogan. All right. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah,
He's doing his Iron Sheik impersonation right now.
You know what? I don't know if I've ever really practiced one. Because honestly, it's kind of like you run the risk of sounding kind of racist if you're a white person doing the Sheiky.
Hey, savory grits. Savory grits, man.
The savory grits are delicious, sir.
Yeah, savory grits. So,
Speaking of Iron Sheik, just so you know, I was watching old episodes of Jerry Springer the other day. Don't ask. On Pluto Television.
Go on, yeah.
But when I say old Jerry Springer episode, Steve had hair and wore a suit. That's how far back these went.
Yes.
And there's one where this woman is telling her boyfriend that she's seeing somebody else, and they bring out the somebody else, and the Iron Sheik walks out.
What?
The actual Iron Sheik walks out.
Yeah.
And he starts ripping on Hulk Hogan. It is the funniest shit, man.
That's so good.
He starts ripping on Hulk Hogan and Bob Backlund. I'm like, good Lord, what the hell is happening here?
That's what happens. There's a comic convention. You could probably YouTube it where Iron Sheik is doing a Q&A. He's doing a Q&A with the fans and everything like that. And every time somebody asks him a question, he somehow turns the answer around into an insult to Hulk Hogan before really answering it and then telling the fan to go fuck himself. And it's hilarious. It's because it's like 30 to 45 minutes of just this over and over and over. Hey Sheik, it's like, hey Sheik, what made you get into wrestling? That fucking bastard Hogan. He did this to fucking break his back, jabroni. Oh yeah, I did it when I was young. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
It's insane that his hatred toward Hogan.
It's nuts, man.
It's the hatred is real.
Son of a bitch, jabroni of the earth.
He's the original MJF.
Dude, they need to put the Sheik in a horror film. Do you like all the B-movie horror movies that come out nowadays? Because they have like
popping up in something.
Yeah, seriously, like they have zombie strippers with all the wrestlers and stuff in it. Like,
no, zombies versus wrestlers. Zombies versus wrestlers.
Oh, is that what it was? What was the zombie stripper movie? I forget what that was.
That's zombie strippers with Zombie. That's it. Zombie strippers. With
I'm thinking of the same movie. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Different movies. Two different movies.
There's been a couple of zombie strippers movies,
Yeah.
but yeah, the one actually called Zombie Strippers. That's when they all hung out. They're in the strip club, boarded up, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And that's when it's got Tito Ortiz as the bouncer, who was at the time married to Jenna Jameson, who was the main zombie stripper.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And pretty much the movie was basically just 5 different sets of 5 different zombie strippers dancing on stage with music. That was the movie.
Hey, do you think when Jenna Jameson dies, she's going to recycle herself?
Maybe to different plastic plants.
It's the green thing to do, man. It's the responsible thing to do.
I mean, can you recycle saline and that stuff and collagen?
I mean, put it in Kim Kardashian's lips or something like that. These plastic bitches.
They're just going to grind her up, and she's going to be part of a park somewhere, like for the ground. The plastic
little kids are
it's going to be a kiddie slide all of a sudden.
A kiddie slide.
those bouncy mats made of old tires and shit.
It's old Jenna.
This park was sponsored by Jenna Jameson's thighs. Like, oh, okay, great, wonderful.
And Tito Ortiz's alimony. So, but yeah, Jenna Jameson. Yeah. There's a few different zombie stripper movies, but you're thinking of Zombies versus Wrestlers, which had like Raven and Kurt Angle and Matt Hardy and Shane Douglas, all those people.
Which we should do a watch along of that one episode. We've never done a watch along. I think those are fun.
We can try to do that. But with Zombies versus Wrestlers, the scene that gets people's attention is when Kurt Angle puts a zombie in the ankle lock, rips the leg off, and then beats him with it.
It's so good.
So
it sounds pretty money, man.
It's definitely a watch that you need to be intoxicated to finish. You have to be intoxicated. But it's out there. It is definitely out there.
There's so many movies out there, man, and you find them like now. One of the places I get independent DVDs is Family Dollar.
Really?
Oh wow!
They have so many. I found Clown Town there. I have found there's so many movies that I found at Family Dollar. But
speaking of dollars, what was that movie I saw, Aaron? That I didn't pick up.
Jack something Monster Hunter. I forget the last name.
Yeah, I saw it on Salvation Army for $1, and Aaron recommended it, and I was like, "Oh, it's just $1, but I want to save this $1. I should have grabbed it."
I'm trying to remember that movie. I know that movie. I'm trying to remember. It's Jack.
It's
Jack something Monster Hunter or Monster something.
I have it somewhere. Yeah,
Salvation Army always has their movies $1 per disc, and like we go to a particular Salvation Army in a rich side of Houston where people just don't destroy their shit, and so like we get
you don't have to worry about scratches and stuff. I pick up movies all the time, man. I'm always picking up stuff.
Walmart has been great lately with like indie movies. There's one I've been wanting to pick up. That's called Amityville Clown House.
Yes.
And
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go look up the Amityville franchise on Wikipedia, and it is ridiculous how many movies they've had come out.
It's
got to be 40 or 50 different versions.
Really? They just slap Amityville on it.
There's Amityville in the Hood. That was one of the more recent. Was Amityville in the Hood?
Yes, Amityville in the Hood. There's there's Amityville Karens, and then there's Amityville in Space. I think was the latest one.
Yeah, it's the latest one. Yeah.
And see, I'm a big fan of the Amityville like kind of French or mythology because I read the book. I read the Amityville horror book. Thought the Warrens and the family were full of crap from the get-go. I'm like, okay, I know these. I know they're lying. They owe somebody money. They're lying. And then I watched the movies. I got the box set. I got the sequels box set, which has like the dollhouse, the evil clock that turns back in time. I picked up all these other Amityville movies because I love that series is so stupid and fun. That I have to get in all the Amityville movies. they're so dumb. I have to get them all. But that movie's called Jack Brooks Monster Slayer.
That's it. Yeah,
that's what it was. Damn it! I might have to go back and see if they got it.
Go get it. It's a fun movie. It's a fun
Yeah.
movie.
It's all it takes is for a movie to be fun. It could
Yeah.
be bad acting, it could be everything else, but as long as it's fun, man.
It's part of the
Right.
3 horror comedies that came out around that time. You had Jack Brooks' Monster Slayer, you had The Last Lovecraft, and you have Tucker and Dale versus Evil, and they're all horror comedies. They came out around the same time, and they're so much fun. They're a great. Those are movies that you should own.
Tucker and Dale is one of the greatest horror comedies ever made.
That was
that
good,
movie
yeah.
is so good.
We have Sam Raimi to thank for that, by the way, and Bruce Campbell. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, these movies don't exist without those guys.
I don't know. You might want to check out Basket Case.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Or even Blood
play,
Diner.
fair play.
Blood Diner was another one I watched a lot when I was a kid. Jackie Kong.
You know what? I'll say this about Blood Diner. Blood Diner has amazing box art. It has an amazing box
Yes,
cover.
that's why I used to rent it all the time.
But the movie is completely different. It's completely different.
I have the movie because Aaron gave me a copy because he either had an extra copy or he upgraded it to a steelbook or something.
No,
like
I
that.
gave it to you because I didn't want it anymore.
Oof.
When you're like a 10-year-old kid and you find a movie you can rent that has a chick with her boobs out running across the restaurant, you tend to rent it every once in a while and watch it over and over again. But I was actually watching Jackie Kong directed Blood Diner, and Jackie has like 3 credits on her IMDb, and that's it. And the other one is Night Patrol. Do you remember Night Patrol? It starred the Unknown Comic. If you get a chance, it's streaming right now on one of the services, but I'm watching it. I'm doing a rewatch of it the other night, and I mean, Dice Clay's in it. Linda Blair is in it. What's his name? The little person actor from back in the day.
Warwick Davis?
Guy. No, this is from back in the late 70s, early 80s. Damn it, I can't remember his name.
The guy from Seinfeld, the little guy from Seinfeld, Mickey.
No, further back than that. What was his? Bobby something, but he was like one of the more famous little people actors back in the day. He's in it. It's a funny ass movie, man. The movie's so stupid. But the Unknown Comic, it's just the whole next day I'm texting my son all these lame ass jokes and stuff. It's like what are the jokes was? How do you get a witch pregnant?
How?
You fuck her.
Oh my god!
The Unknown Comic, you said, have these horrible just dad jokes that
I wasn't ready.
That's a good one. That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. Oh man. Well, Scott, it has been great to have you on. This has been a lot of fun just talking horror movies with you.
Awesome, man.
We're going to give you this time to kind of plug your stuff. Plug the convention. Where can it find you on the socials? Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, so our next big event, of course, our flagship event is the Houston Horror Film Festival, which is coming up July 22nd through the 24th at the Marriott West Chase in Houston, Texas. It's right at the Beltway in Westheimer. You're going to be able to see a whole bunch of guests. We got a few other guests we will be announcing, but we're going to have a whole bunch of villains for you. We got CJ Graham from Friday the 13th Part 6, which is, in my opinion, one of the should be considered one of the all-time greats in the franchise, just because of what it means to the franchise. Andrew Bernosky, who was Leatherface, of course, back in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake in 2003, who is honestly, in my opinion, that's the darkest, scariest Leatherface you will find in the franchise.
Yeah.
He was just a monster at that. James Dew Courtney, current Michael Myers from the Halloween franchise. We got a whole bunch of Halloween people. Tom Jones Jr., who, of course, was able to bring back Dr. Loomis. In a very amazing way. That was all makeup, which is what really blows my mind. There was no CGI. Danielle Harris and Scout Taylor Compton, of course, two incredible scream queens from Rob Zombie's Halloween. Danielle, of course, she was in Halloween 4 or 5, and Millie Shapiro is making a very, very rare appearance from Hereditary, and she is a sweet girl. She's launching a music career right now. She's awesome. James Duvall was one of the big announcements for me that we've been sitting on that one for months. I've been waiting to announce it. And, we wanted to kind of wait till we got closer to Easter because, of course, he's Frank the Rabbit from Donnie Darko. But and of course, a lot of people know him from Independence Day as Randy Quaid's son. But he's going to be coming down. We got Alex Vincent and Christina Leese from the Child's Play franchise. Kathy Moriarty. I mean, this woman's an Oscar-nominated actress for Raging Bull.
Yep.
But from Casper, and also one of my favorite movies that she was in was Neighbors. You remember that movie Neighbors with John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd?
Vaguely.
Yeah. So John Belushi was kind of like the nerdy neighbor who he ended up having Dan Aykroyd move next door, who him and his wife were just like really crazy swingers and stuff.
Okay.
Kathy Moriarty was actually Kathy was Dan Aykroyd's wife in that movie.
Okay.
Dolly from the Boulet Brothers Dracula show. One of my favorites, just an old crush of mine, Rachel Truce coming down.
Oh,
I
yeah.
cannot wait to meet Rachel.
I saw her a few years ago. She looks gorgeous still.
Oh yeah, and she's very, very sweet.
Yes, very.
Michael Hargrove, of course, the Sherman Fields Candyman from the Jordan Peele Candyman franchise. A real big one that we were honestly surprised that it went as well as it did. With
I think I know who this is.
And we just mentioned Body Bags a little while ago, but Tom Arnold's coming.
Yes.
Which is pretty exciting.
Freddy's Dead, the new Nightmare too.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Jill Solon from Popcorn, from The Stepfather, just Babes in Toyland, which I found that VHS the other day. I was pretty excited about. She's going to be coming down. Just definite screen queen there. Marshall Virtue, one of the most underrated slashers, is definitely the Valentine movie. Do you remember the Valentine movie?
I do remember it.
Yeah. So the actual Valentine killer's coming down. Marshall Virtue is going to be coming. John Abrahams from Scary Movie, and one of the movies that I used to tell people used to say, like, what kind of movies give you nightmares? When I first saw that movie, Kids, that movie scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because the whole time I'm thinking that could really happen. I could really be walking through a park and a bunch of kids with skateboards just start clocking me on the back of the head with it.
Oh wow.
The Scream Queen Mark Patton's going to be coming down from Friday the 13th part 2. I'm sorry, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, losing my mind. Yeah, losing my mind. Terry McMinn's coming down, the original Chainsaw Girl from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We got a group of folks from House of a Thousand Corpses. Walter Phelan, of course, was Dr. Satan, and Jennifer Jostin, one of the victims from the movies. David Bourne, who was in Texas Chainsaw 3D. He's a local Houston resident. He's going to be coming down.
Yes.
Leslie Dean is going to be coming out from Freddy's Dead and 976 Evil, which may or may not be Robert Englund's magnus opus, but I'm not going to bring that up. You know, he hates talking about he hates talking about that movie. Just so you guys.
Really?
Yeah,
he does.
Tiffany Shepis is going to be coming down, of course. My probably favorite movie she was in, which one day I want to get Debbie Rochon down here, is Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, that
is such a fun movie.
That's a good one.
Carmela McNeil from the current Halloween franchise. And of course, we're going to have a whole bunch of filmmakers where we are going to be, I think we got 75 movies, short films and feature films. We're going to be premiering that weekend. Of course, we're going to have photo ops, 120 vendors, after parties. It's just going to be an absolute blast. So that's July 22nd through 24th. You can go to HoustonHorrorFilmFest.com, and we're on every social media platform, Houston Horror Film Fest. Just search us up, and you will definitely find us pretty quick.
Fantastic.
That's awesome. And where can they find you on social?
On social, of course, Scott Fontenot on Facebook, Old School Creole on Instagram, Houston Horror Film Fest on Instagram, and also on Facebook also. Plus we run the Houston Horror Community Facebook page also, which is that group's growing pretty fast, and it's a lot of fun. We're going to start doing some stuff with that group. And just follow us on any of those platforms, and you'll learn about all the events that we do. We got at least another 5 events coming up this year, whether they be single day or the big events that we're going to be doing.
That is awesome. And I know a lot of our listeners are horror fans, and hopefully we can meet y'all out there. We'll be able to attend to meet y'all out there.
That'd definitely be awesome. Hopefully I can come back on the show, man. Let me know if y'all want to pick a movie that we could talk about.
Here's the thing.
Oh yeah.
In October we do like you've heard of March Madness. Well, we do like an October slasher madness or horror madness in October, where we do the same bracket system where we have a guest that be our split decision for rating movies.
Okay.
And last year's winner was Trick or Treat because the way it's the path it took to get to the end. That's all. All that matters is the path it took.
Who it went up against, right?
The final
matchups
two,
for everything.
the final 2 movies was Trick or Treat and The Thing. Yeah. It was the path of victory. Yeah.
And he just got done
Must have
telling
been a
us
young,
later.
must have been a young crowd over there voting on that one.
Oh man, hey, look, it's
Well, our oldest guest was part of the Universal collection. We had our bracket for Universal, and we had our friend James on there, and he helped us with that. But it came down. The final four was Child's Play 2 versus Creature from the Black Lagoon versus The Thing versus Trick or Treat.
Okay. And you got, and man, if I remember correctly, I made a good case for The Thing, honestly, because I'm always a proponent of what you don't know is what's scary. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can show me practical effects shit and it looks great all day, but like at the end of the day, we don't know who the fuck who was what. You know what I mean? Like, or if everybody was just screwed at the end. You know what I mean? Like it was, it was blight, very blight, and so. That was the whole thing.
It's a popularity contest.
It's the way it works. Yeah.
It's a popularity contest.
What it is.
Exactly.
So
everybody loves Sam. Who doesn't love Sam?
Yeah, who doesn't love Sam? That's the thing. So again, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure to have you on
having me, man. It was great. Look forward to it next time.
I just have one final question for you.
Shoot.
And as a horror collector, physical media or digital?
Physical, always.
Physical, always.
Because well, they're doing things now with digital media that's a lot different than what they used to be able to. And one of the reasons I was always a huge proponent of VHS and stuff like that is that back in the 70s and early 80s, there was a lot of things they did with practical effects and special effects that the use of VHS was able to hide the imperfections.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll give you one of my favorite examples is if you watch the movie Airplane. And the scene where the doctor is he's on the phone and the heart's bouncing around the desk. Okay, when they clean that up and made it digital, you could see the string on the VHS because of the lines and the way it's not crystal clear. That string was hidden and it looked like the heart was bouncing around. And that's one of the reasons why in a lot of cases I prefer physical media. To actual digital. I like being able to if the cable goes out or internet goes out, I can just throw a DVD or a VHS in and I can watch it.
Yep.
I can watch what I want. That's why I got a lot of VHS and DVDs. But I love having them.
And not everything's on streaming. Not everything's available.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of 80s and 90s horror that have not been converted to DVD or to digital streaming. That are just not coming out to like Severin and Era Video and all those other distributors now. And you're definitely paying for it. But still, they're those hard to find movies that are slowly coming out now to physical media only, not to digital streaming service. And that
there's some that's hard to find. Try to find a DVD copy of Near Dark, dude. It's impossible.
Oh yeah.
They came out with that one special edition that goes for like $50 used on eBay and stuff. And I got the VHS here, of course. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my top 3 vampire movies. Bill Paxton, man. Bill Paxton and Lance Henriksen. You can't beat Near Dark.
All right. Well, like I've got one of them somewhere. I've got one. I bought this DVD and I bought it on the discount rack at Best Buy. And now you try to find the movie and it's hard to find. I have Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys, the one with Corey Feldman.
Yes.
You can't get that anywhere now. You can't. It's I know Charles Band just got the rights back to it, but still.
When he releases it, you're going to pay for
it. Yeah. and he says he doesn't want to release it because he hates that movie. He feels it's terrible, even though he made like 10 out of the 15 Puppet Master movies.
Let's say, come on now.
So
does he know some of the Full Moon movies that have come out and he thinks that one was bad?
Does he realize what he's doing? Come on, he made Pre-Hysteria 3. Come on.
Exactly.
Oh my god, yeah. Holy shit.
So yeah, it's those you can't find some of these movies anywhere. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for physical media, but also when I buy them, I either trade them away or I sell them off. So recoup or do that. So
I've done that with a lot of VHS tapes that I have because a lot of stuff I had duplicates and I kind of called the collection a couple of months ago. Made a good bit of money. The VHS market is ignorant right
I
now.
was about to say
It
it's
is,
going the way of where records and shit became popular again. Now
Yeah.
VHS because
yeah.
we got people who want horror movies that never fucking had a VCR ever. Until
Well,
they bought
it's-
one for
right.
$100 on
It's
eBay.
also certain cuts now. Like, the original cut of Lilo and Stitch is going for crazy amounts because of the edits to like the dryer
Oh yeah.
now to the cupboard, and then
Right.
and then what I didn't know is that the original like the 80 cut of Wizard of Oz on VHS is going for crazy amounts because
Yeah,
of the hanging shadow in the background.
Right.
So
What?
there's a hanging shadow in the background that got replaced with the bird, and it's a different cut.
Interesting.
Different
I didn't
cuts.
know that. I mean, I knew about the hanging, mini person or whatever, but like I didn't know that it was a thing as far as like being more expensive on VHS.
It is real. It is
honestly,
real.
I honestly don't think because I know. God, I'm going to implicate myself, but I know people that used to do this with comic books. But I honestly think a lot of the VHS overinflation of pricing has to do with a lot of money laundering and just
I think so
and
too.
some other things going on because it's ignorant how some of these prices are going up. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense at all.
Well, were you at the Texas Frightmare where the one booth had like the 30 VCRs that they were selling at $200 a piece and they sold out?
I've heard about it. I didn't see it, but I heard about it. Yeah.
Somebody was selling VCRs. They're brand new or refurbished, $200 a piece, and the guy had 30 of them, and he sold out the first day.
Jesus Christ.
And the thing about it is, I remember because I've been doing estate sales and thrift stores for a decade now.
Yeah.
And I remember at a time I could take a day and go to 4 thrift stores and I'm gonna find a couple of VCRs and a turntable.
Yeah.
You can't find that. There's so many people that are looking for that stuff now and flipping it. You can't find anything anymore, man. It's miserable.
It is insane. It is. Well, it's the way of the horror craft now. People got to have those VHSs.
Yeah.
So, again, sir, thank you for coming on.
No problem. Like I said,
And-
look forward to doing it again, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna have you on again because this was definitely a lot of fun. Hopefully, we get you after the convention. That way, we can kind of get your take and review of how it went. How it went and everything. So.
And what we might do is leading up to it is maybe if I can come back on and I'll bring Troy on. And Troy, once we get the film selections going, he can actually discuss some of the movies that we're going to have coming up.
Oh, that's even better.
So.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
That'll be even better. So yeah, man, thank you again.
Awesome, no problem.
And if you made it this far, give yourself a pat on the back. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you'll tune in next week. So until then, I'm Aaron.
I am Chris, and listen, I didn't want to bring it up because he's a former chef, okay? I know he's going to say, but I want to ask anyway, okay? I'm sorry to our 17 listeners. I'm sorry to you, Aaron. Scott, Pancho's Mexican Buffet, good restaurant or great restaurant?
When I was in college, it was a great restaurant.
That's all I need to know. There you go. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Everybody take care. Keep it scary.
Fuck Pancho.
Thanks for listening. If you like what you heard, check out CrossTheStreamsMedia.com to hear more episodes of this podcast and the other shows on the Cross the Streams network. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you download your favorite shows. Visit CrossTheStreamsMedia.com for more information. See you next time.
This has been a Cross the Streams Media Podcast.